Haha, see, that's why I always do sound check at the beginning. So, hello, 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 and welcome to ZBrush Live. And hope everybody had a good couple of weeks. And I've been crunching at work, so I'm pretty tired, but I think I should be able to do okay. Um, so, yeah, do all the internet things here. Like, subscribe, and what's going on with this? Where are you? Here you are. Sorry, just had to adjust something here real quick with the video. Here we go, and let's do a little bit of a zero pan here, and a little bit of a tilt the other direction. Okay. So, yeah, sorry about that. And, yeah, so if you guys can hear me okay, let me know on Twitch and YouTube. And if you can hear me okay on Facebook, let me know. Strawberry King, thanks for letting me know that I was muted. Okay, so if you guys can hear me now and you can see my screen, let me know and we can go ahead and get going. Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, I don't know if I covered this, but you know what to do. If you've watched one of these before, you know, like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the internet things. And then if you have questions, ask them during the stream in chat. And then if you have questions, if you're watching this offline, leave them in the comments and hopefully somebody will get back to you, or catch me next time in a couple of Fridays and I will cover it then. Okay, so we are still working on this mech. Unfortunately, like I said, I've been crunching at work, so haven't had time to do much with it since then. But hopefully today we will get a little bit further on it, and we're getting close with this to kind of be done with the modeling part of it, at least kind of the large or the primary forms and secondary forms, and we'll get we can get started on painting and then shooting it over to C4D and rendering it in Redshift. Okay, so let's see. I think last time we put in some of these Kitbash parts, and probably today we're going to spend a lot of time doing that as well. I think we put in these parts over here. And just kind of figuring out where the borders are, just kind of refining it a little bit. I'm going into this a little bit more with a little bit more detail than I intended to initially. Initially, I just wanted this to kind of be something that was going to be seen from far, but it's coming along really nice. So I think maybe I will 3D print it at some point. have been looking at 3D printers again and wanting to get back into that kind of vein of things, and maybe making these available as collectibles or something like that down the road. Anyway, so let's see, there's quite a few of you already, and let me see something here real quick. There are these really annoying bots that come up. I just want to make sure I clear them all out before I start so they don't bug you and they don't bug me. All right, great. Let's see here. So I loaded in a Kitbash part before I started. Here's one. I don't know which one is this one. It's by... I don't remember who it's by, but it's just one of the Kitbash parts that I bought on either Gumroad or ArtStation, probably on ArtStation. And there are plenty of really neat parts here that I can probably use. So let's go back into the model and see what are areas that I could put Kitbash parts in. One of the parts that I did put in last week, and let me change this material real quick to something more generic for now, and then we will start playing around with the materials and color and all that stuff pretty soon. Okay, so I think last time we worked on these bottom parts over here, and I don't know why they're so dark. Yeah, but these are Kitbash parts that we put down here, and these seem to be working okay. Let's see what other Kitbash parts. I think there's some areas here. These could be lights over here, so I could put some lights in there. And I don't know if those need to be Kitbash parts. I could probably just put in a couple of cylinders. There's some parts in this cable that are in there already that look pretty nice, and I could probably apply different materials to those. This arm part over here, I think I can do a little bit more with. And maybe these extremities, I could put some things there. And yeah, I think it's looking... I want to connect all subtools and bake normals. How? All right. You mean you want to connect all these subtools and then bake normals out of it? Well, first of all, you need to have UVs on everything to do that, right? I got something in either Chinese or Japanese here. Let me see if I can get a translator action going here and figure out what you're saying. Oh man, 1, 2, 3, 2 doubles, 2 666 sets. Yeah, you'll have to UV everything, Ahmed. You have to get everything UV'd, and then once you do that, then you can. All right, so let's see, what language is this? Calculation, okay, is what this person's saying. And he is saying that in what language? Dasan. Okay. I guess, is it Japanese? Yes, it is. All right, cool. All right, yeah, hey. And then let's see what this person's name is. Clever Strategy is the guy's name. Clever Strategy, calculation, and then a bunch of 6s. Okay, cool. I don't know what that means, but okay, sure. All right, so yeah, it's going to look cool with some lights, definitely. And again, I want to kind of put this in a hazy kind of cloudy environment, and kind of have the lights kind of create some sort of atmospheric effect. So it's going to look pretty cool. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to that kind of in a couple of weeks here. I know I keep saying a couple of weeks, but there's always more to do. And I'm kind of itching to get going on another thing here. And I kind of want to get started on this other project, which I probably will do next time around. And that's going to be based on some new experiments I've been doing with AI. So here's one example of one experiment that I did, which basically was to generate mechs in AI, and then but generate them as diagrams, not kind of complex, and then just edit them in Photoshop and just do colorations on them. But this is really not what I want to do. I mean, this would be cool to do and easy to do, but what I want to do is this thing. I want to make this. So this is basically a photo bash, I guess, of a bunch of AI images I generated in Midjourney. And so, wow, I'm getting like weird messages. Yakuza Year 22200. Okay, that's a great name for it, I guess. So basically just kind of model this thing, right? This is all different pieces generated by AI that I put together as a composition, and got some really good results out of it. Seems like people like it. And what I want to do is I want to take this a step further and actually make a 3D model out of it. So that's going to be kind of the next stream I'm going to do, and pretty excited about that. So it'll be a while until, I got to finish this first. Or maybe, I will put this on pause and do that if it gets too exciting. We'll see. What do you guys think? Let's see. Really very cool. It's nice. Okay, yeah. After UV, I want to bake this 2 subs. The hands remind me of Independence Day. Love that movie. Yeah, sure. Looks cool. Thank you. Midjourney is impressive. It can place characters and T-pose. I was shocked. Yeah, Midjourney is pretty amazing. Hey Nadira, how's it going? Okay, so yeah, you've got UVs, you want to bake them. Basically what you would do at that point is you would export your model. So it depends on where you're going to bake them in. Ahmed, do you have a program you're going to bake these in? Hey Diego, how's it going, man? Yeah, Ahmed, what program are you going to bake these in? Are you going to bake them in Substance Painter or in Nald or in XNormal, or do you not even know what those are? I don't know. I don't want to assume anything, so I'll just ask you. Sorry, I keep kind of bouncing around. Okay, you want to do them in Substance Painter? All right, so if you want to do them in Substance Painter, basically you UV everything, right? So I UV all these things, and then I combine all these into one model, like in here. I go over to merge and merge visible, and that will create, and I can probably do that with this one. It'll probably sweat, but let's do it. I click on merge visible, takes a few minutes. Actually, that was pretty fast, right? And then I get one model that is everything combined, which, where is it? Probably created, there it is, merge group, there it is. So right now, it's everything as one piece, and just to make our life simpler here, I'm just gonna fill the object all with white, so I basically get something like this, right? And each one of these parts has a UV on it. And then what I will do is I will take this and I will load it into Substance Painter. And here, I've got an old version of Substance Painter, but let me launch it and I can show you the exact place to do this operation. They feed Midjourney how to use ZBrush. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I kind of was talking to some people about like the do's and cans of Midjourney, and I mean, it's amazing what it can do, but it's also, there's a lot it can't do. So, well, so here. No, I don't want to get the new version, and yes, I want to stay with my current version because I don't want to subscribe yet, because there's nothing I need to subscribe for. Okay, so when you just go to File and say New, right? And in the new, under File, you save it as an OBJ file, you just select it as this, and then you bring it in, right? So, and then, you can bring it in with your low resolution, and then if you generate a displacement map with it, you bring that displacement map in it, or a normal map as well. So when you're bringing it in, so when you say File New, right? So here's where you basically select your file, but then you also go in and import other components. Like you can add a normal map, you can add, oops, I don't want to do that. You can add a normal map, you can add a displacement map, you can add all sorts of maps that you generate. And then once those come in Substance Painter, then you basically go in and there is a button that says bake everything, and then it just basically will bake all the maps for you. So the way you want to do the displacement maps is basically you have, like, let me find one object here. So I'm just going to delete this one first, right? So, and when you do this, by the way, when you merge it, you want to be on all low. Like, so there's this command over here called all low. So you want to make sure that everything that you have is at the lowest subdivision level, or at a subdivision level that will adhere the normals really well. And then you basically do multi-map exporter, or you can just go in and do them individually. It's up to you. You can just go in here under displacement map, and then basically choose the lowest level and the highest level, and then say create displacement map, and it will create it for you over here. And that's one of the things that you load into Substance Painter, right? So basically you have the low poly model, you have the high poly model as well, and you create a displacement map from that, and then you load that displacement map or a normal map into Substance Painter, and that will give you kind of the high resolution details. There's plenty of videos online about that that you can look at. I don't usually use the game engine to do that, but usually I kind of like to work in high res. But if you want to do, if you want to do low res and then have, high res kind of details show up, and you want to load it into Marmoset or whatever, that's when you basically need to generate displacement maps or normal maps to kind of give you the illusion of having that level of detail. And I don't know, I think that there is, I don't know, is there an example, I guess, in Substance Painter or something that gives you that? But yeah, there's plenty of videos on that online that you can look at. And again, there's different workflows depending on where this is going. If it's going to be a collectible, then you don't really need to worry about any of that. But if it's going to go into a game, or if it's going to go into like VR or something like that, then you definitely need to kind of have a low resolution cage, and then have a displacement map or a normal map, probably a normal map if it's going into VR, and then you can kind of substance it up in Substance Painter or Mari or something else. PBR metallic, okay, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass process. It is, but it's not that hard. It just will take a long time to do all the different steps. All right, so where can we add some Kitbash parts? I'm going to hide this guy for now. So I'm assuming this kind of top part's going to be pretty smooth. It doesn't really need any Kitbash parts over there. When the balloons come up, there isn't much going on over here. Maybe I can add one part over here. Let's see if I can find something to go in between the balloon, like maybe something in this back area over here. So let's kind of go shopping in the Kitbash store. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. Every time I go on Midjourney, I see some really interesting stuff people are doing, and but there's also a lot of issues with copyright. There was a big discussion on that online on one of my friends' forums, talking about people are just putting in like Craig Mullins's name or other people's name, and I do it every once in a while too. And then, and then you get an image. Well, does anything go to Craig Mullins? Does anything go to all the people, like even Giger or any of the other artists? Like if you're using their name and you're using their images in the AI, do they get anything out of it? So there's a lot of controversy about it still that hasn't been figured out yet. And I've talked to some lawyers about it. Here we go. Here's a part I can use. I've talked to some lawyers about it, and they're still thinking it's pretty young. But also, in a way, they're also thinking that it is not they're thinking that it's pretty young, but also they're thinking that it's not something that you know, like if the image has changed enough, they're thinking that the artists don't really have any right to it. So you know, I don't know. I don't have a opinion one way or the other. Being an artist, I would hate for my work to for people to use my work and me not get anything for it. But on the other hand, I also think that this is a very cool technology, and it would be a pity if it got tied up in legal headaches and couldn't be explored further and developed into interesting things. So I don't know. I think there's, you know, just like anything else, there's what you can do and what you should do, and all that is kind of still under study. And I'm hoping that people will figure it out, and it will work out to the benefit of the artists, as well as the people making the software, and as well as everybody and the world at large. So, all right. Okay, I said a lot about stuff. Could export low res and high res to Blender and auto UV both, and then load both into Substance and bake high and low. You could do it all in ZBrush also, though. Okay, yeah, Commander Dante, of course. Yeah, you can do it in Blender. You can do it in a lot of different programs. I mean, there's just, you know, it seems to me like the number of programs and the new technologies are always expanding, and that's a great thing. Yeah, it's kind of like sampling music is right. Exactly. They brought up that exact example, Alex. How did you do that? Are there any video? How did I do what, Tushar? Audio is very low, really? Okay, let me check that out. Thanks for letting me know, by the way, Shiva. I'm showing pretty loud here. I'll kind of bump this up just a little bit more. I don't know if this helps, but yeah. I'm showing audio okay on my end. I don't know. Is anybody else seeing that the audio is really low? I mean, I can speak a little bit louder, but yeah, I think the audio is fine. All right, so I brought in this Kitbash part, and what I want to do here is I like this kind of part of it. I want to mirror it over to the other side. So let's do a mirror and weld. Of course, it's going to do the what side I don't want. So let's do a mirror and weld. Okay, so now I've got this part, and this is exactly what I want. And I think this Kitbash, kind of using a Kitbash kit, is the same thing, where you know, you're using enough of it, but you're obfuscating it enough so that it is not exactly what the person has done, but it's a little bit different. And here I'm going to use a deformer. I'm going to use the extender deformer to make this a little bit longer this way. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of commotion outside my room here. I don't know what's going on. Sounds like a dog got loose. All right. Okay, yeah, Shiva, double check on your fan. Diego, thanks for letting me know that it's fine. Okay, great, good. So everybody's doing okay. We'll move on. So yeah, so now I've got these things, and I'm kind of thinking these things are what attach the balloons to. I maybe won't even see them. No, there it is. Okay, so yeah, these things are what the balloons attach to. So there's that kind of a thing. And maybe I can add another piece kind of that to go in between here. Let's go Kitbash shopping and find something there. So I don't need this one anymore. Let's see, there's some really interesting pieces in here that I can use. Oh my gosh. All right, which one looks good? All right, so I've got a screaming child and somebody who has COVID coughing outside my window. That's great. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I sure can. All right, here we go. Let's go with, how about we go with this part right here. Okay, Kitbash duplicate. There it is. And then go to our object. I can actually delete it now. And then go to my object. right, unify, W, and yeah, that part can go over in this area right here. I think these guys, oh my gosh. Yeah, this Kitbash skid is pretty good. Yeah, Commander Dante, I think that's good advice right there. All right, so what I'm going to do here is, I don't know, like there's a lot of detail over here that I'm kind of missing out on. So let's see if I can rotate this around like this. Maybe like so. This looks good, something like this. Okay, so again, I'm just not going to use this exactly the way it is. I'm going to mirror and weld it. Let's see what that gives us. This time it did the right thing, and let's see what that looks like. Maybe move it in. Here we go. That looks like it belongs there. Cool, cool, cool. So there's that. And yeah, that kid definitely is having a party. And the lungs on that kid, geez Louise, she can belt it out. All right. And I'm amazed that you guys can hear it. But could you hear it really loud, or is it kind of mild? I kind of like this part. I want to use it somewhere. Let's see if I can find a place for it. Copy. Oh, good. All right. That's great. Uh-oh. One of the things to make note of, and I'll do that in a minute, is if you're using Kitbash parts, make sure you back up early and often. Okay, so there it is. Oh, okay, so why is this thing not getting any smaller? And where's everybody else? All right, let's just do one more unify, W. Maybe it's way too big. All right, something funky is going on. It would be a good time to do a quick save. Let's wait for the program to respond. I just want to make sure this doesn't crash. I have some good things that I did. I don't want to lose them. So we'll just let it do its thing. Anybody, anything else going on with... Oh, here we go. Cool, it came back. All right, so let's try this one more time. Resize this thing. Yeah, it doesn't want to resize. Solo. All right, something weird is going on with this part. Oh, maybe I had another part selected. That was what was going on. All right, no worries. But where is everybody else? Like, where are you? Where's this part? Okay. Let me delete this part right here. No. God, this is really distracting, this kid. Oh. I think they went inside. Yay. Here we go. I think this thing came in pretty big. That's what the problem was. All right. Let's try this one more time. Paste. And unify. I would get this kid a volume control for her birthday. All right. I'm sorry. I'm kind of totally... You know what's kind of funny is that the louder this kid gets, her parents get as loud sometimes. I don't know why, but I wonder if this can go here somewhere. I remember when my kids were younger, they were pretty loud too. So play outside. All right. Go. And again, I want to just modify this a bit. Maybe flatten it down. And put it over here. There we go. All right. All right, so that's there, and now I want to have that on the other side, so I'm just going to mirror and weld it. So now it's on the other side as well. And we got to find something to do on the inside of this tube. And also I need to put something over here. So let's go find some parts to do that with. Wow, we got a lot of you watching today. How's everybody's week been? I've been super, super busy at work. Let's see if there's anything over here we can use. Some cool parts. I think this is not the Kitbash part I was looking at. Is it this one? No. Where are you? Did I inadvertently delete? No, there's no way I did that. It's this one. Here we go. Audio on YouTube videos from Audio Engineer like Rick Beto and Kiev Jeeves are louder by about 25 to 30%. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I could do. Like, I mean, in OBS, I've got it almost at max, and maybe I should get some sort of amplifier. I don't know. I'm kind of new to this whole streaming thing. Kind of new. I mean, I've been doing it for a while, but I kind of want to do more streaming on Twitch and other channels. So, Shiva, if you know what they're using, then let me know. Alex, you had a good week? Awesome. Good for you. I had a good week too. It wasn't a bad week. It was a great week. It was just really busy. Actually, it was an awesome week. I wish I could tell you what I'm working on, but I can't. But it's really cool. It's like... it's a very, very neat project. I have all the displacement details on your head. Pretty amazing for characters. Yeah. Yeah. Commander Dante, I know exactly what you're talking about. That is pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, you know, I think there's some really interesting stuff going on with like images, you know, being generated into 3D objects. Just like still images being generated into 3D objects. I think there's a couple of NVIDIA projects that are doing that. And yeah, I mean, it's just like every time I think the technology is kind of at an amazing place, that somebody goes and creates something new that just blows me away. Sorry, I'm kind of talking here, but I need to get cranking on these pieces. So let me choose this one right here. Like so. Kitbash duplicate that, and then go in here. Let's see, yeah, this is kind of a pretty generic looking part that I could use somewhere in the mech, so let's go ahead and do that. Again, I'm looking for something to put on the other side of this, or something to put over here. Let's see if this one will work over here. So let's just paste it and unify it. Let's see if that fits over to the left over here. Yeah, AI is booming, definitely. A lot of interesting things happening. And you know what's kind of funny is that it's not even the buzzword. You know, AI was the buzzword for a while, but I think a lot of the results are starting to come out from the things that people were working on. So I'm pretty excited to see all the new things that are coming out. And I think, I mean, I've already incorporated it into my workflow at work, absolutely. A project that I had to design something. I mean, I just basically did a lot of the work in AI, got some images or whatever, and then just made the model in ZBrush. Yeah, definitely benefited from what the AI generated. It never gets me everything, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you know, like it's not end all be all done. You just generate an image in AI and you're finished. There's always a lot more work to be done. And I think there will always be more work to be done. I still think that it's not like, you know, it's not going to replace. It will replace some artists, but I think you still need somebody to at least curate it or do some things to it. Okay, so this looks like this is a nice fit over here. Let's mirror and weld it to the other side. Violet shadow, okay. Zero's been cooler, but I don't know the way it works. Gets me frustrated as a user compared to others. I can see that. I could definitely see that. Take a you know, you might want to take a class, maybe. That's what I did. It really helped. A long time ago, I took a class. And now I actually teach a class in ZBrush at Noman School of Visual Effects here in Hollywood. And I have a fun group of students this year, or this term. And I'm at week 4, almost at week 5. I can't believe we're almost halfway through the term. Summer term usually is not as busy as the winter term, but I actually have more students in the summer than I did in the fall term, which is pretty odd. All right, delete hidden, and let's just do a little bit of tweaking here. Oops, turn symmetry on. Do a little bit of tweaking on this guy and just put it over here, maybe a little bit back. And again, you know, even though this is a Kitbash part, not much of it is going to show, but it definitely creates some visual interest here and kind of sells this area over here. I don't know about this little piece hanging out, so I got to find some other piece to put down here. I think that'll make it look better. Let's see if the same piece will work. Sometimes this works. Yeah, this could do it. AI will become a muse to future artists. I can see that. Yeah, I think that's definitely definitely something that's happening now. So I will say yes to that. Definitely. All right, so this works, but now I've got this area that's kind of hanging out here, so I got to figure out something to do with that. Maybe put in a cable or something that goes from here to here. I don't know if this thing had cables, did it? The Kitbash part I was looking at, this thing doesn't have, does it have cables? Does not have cables. I have some Kitbash parts that have cables. I don't need this big thing anymore, delete that. I could put a piston in there, but I think, I don't know if it's a place for a pistol. It's or a piston, it's a good place for a cable. Yeah, I think I can see it being amused. Totally. Definitely. And then it'll go on an interview and say, I'm not going to do it. Okay. I should move this just a little bit down. And I could probably get away with doing this to it. Yep. The thing with AI parts also is that there's only so much you can tweak them before they kind of break, or they don't do, you know, they kind of, the shape that they have kind of doesn't conform to what it needs to conform to. All right, that's looking good. I kind of like this area to have something as well. So let's go find something. This is, you know, this is kind of fun. You know, you're just basically like, somebody once said it's like Legos, and I think that's a good comparison. I wish somebody would write some sort of a plugin to make this Kitbash part. I mean, I've written a small macro, which Joseph Drust at the time he was at Pixlogic helped me write. This Kitbash duplicate, which is a short script. Basically, what it does is it just you know, selects the object, copies it to another subtool, and then copies it to the clipboard, and then I just go in and paste it. This part right here looks interesting. Let's see if we can incorporate this somewhere. Kitbash duplicate, there it is. And let's see if this could go over here somewhere. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Paste. Comes in huge. Unify, there it is. And wow, I didn't realize this thing was so deep. It's kind of wild when you bring in something and, like, you know, this whole mech could have a handle. Maybe it's a small mech. But no. Let's see if I can do this to it. It's so funny when I'm doing these, the number of people always kind of goes up. I wonder if it's because it starts trending or anything on Twitch, or gets promoted. I don't know. Here we go. Maybe here, like that. I don't want it to mess with this area over here. It kind of looks good, but let me see if I can move it down, make it smaller. It's this area that over here that I wanted to figure something out for. Would I be importing a 1.1 by 1 square main mesh and bringing that to your Kitbash to match scale 4? Yeah, I mean, I can probably automate that somehow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the way to do it. Maybe, you know, what I was also thinking is creating another thing that when I, you know, it paste and unify, like, you know, taking those two commands and merging them into one. So I might be writing a little script for that. I haven't been using Kitbash parts a lot for a while, so that kind of development vein has stopped. But this totally isn't working, this piece, so it's got to go. Sorry. Maybe I can use part of it. Let me just solo it out. I kind of like this handle for some reason, but I don't like the rest of it. So I'm going to see if I can just delete hidden and see if I can plan a good place for this little handle thing, which is pretty cool. And at some point I want to start a whole, you know, like right now it's just kind of going through all these Kitbash parts. But at some point I want to get to a point where I can I just have like the Kitbash parts that I use all the time and not have to deal with what's the thing that's causing this bit? It's not dynamic under perspective. It's here. It's this one. Okay. But yeah, just like have more of a streamlined Kitbash kit, which basically is parts of Kitbash kits and things that I really like, and I can just kind of limit it to that. Where would this look good? Oh, maybe over here. How about just over here like this? And maybe have it be longer. I mean, I've got 2 holes over here that I can go into. Would that work? Let's see. Let's make this bigger. It says you're promoted. What does that mean? Where am I promoted? Ogdriz. Am I promoted on Twitch? Am I promoted on where am I promoted? Ooh, Master of Kitbashing. Well, I'll take that. I think Kitbashing is pretty cool. Here we go. That works. That works really nice. And do this to it. Bring it over. Yeah, I like kitbashing. It's kind of a dangerous sport, so to speak, because you could really, I mean, I see some kit bashes and they're kind of scary. But if you do it right, I think it works pretty well. I wonder, yeah, I wonder if I just rotate it this way. No. Okay, let me just go. I think the problem is I'm rotating this thing from the center and I need to rotate it from this point right here. Here we go. Now I can get it to do exactly what I want it to do. There. It's it right here. Oh, I'm promoted on Twitch? That's great. That's awesome. Thank you, whoever's promoting me. And mirror and weld. And then I'm going to take this exact same thing, and by holding the control key down, which basically creates a duplicate, do this, move it over. And again here, I just need to worry about one. Oops, I didn't want to create 2 copies. And I don't want to worry about both sides. Like, I don't care about this piece over here. What I'm doing is just moving this over to here like so. So anybody on here works in the industry at all? Like anybody working games or movies? Or anybody, you know, anybody do this as a job is, I guess, what I'm trying to ask. Because I've got a funny thing to bring up if you do. I don't know if the restream bot will come back. I have a way of squashing those bugs before I start my stream now. But last time they figured out a way to get back in, so I don't know. Hopefully they won't. And also, we are taking action against them. So hopefully that will get them to not bother us anymore. Okay, so now what I did is I just put this on this side as well, like that. And it created this one over here, but I don't really care about that. I can just solo these out. Now, what I want to do here is I don't care about these other 2. I'm just going to delete them. And I'm just going to mirror and weld this one to the other side, and here we go. And then that just kind of created these little handles over here that I don't know what they would be used for, but they could be useful. I still have this hole in here that I haven't filled. Maybe I could do this exact same thing on the other side. Let's see. Alex, you do what? Sorry. And Scorpion, Universe, cool. All right, so let me just kind of duplicate this thing over here, over to this side, and then rotate it. Again, that's going to create this other weird one that's going to be floating over there, but I don't really care about that. And then just kind of bring this out to have over on this side. I think this is working. Let's see. I'm trying to see it from all angles. I think that's good enough. Solo. Okay, so these two are the ones I care about, same as before. I just select these two, delete hidden on the other ones, clear the mask, mirror and weld, and we are in business. Okay, so that kind of fixed this area. I still have this little area over here to figure something out about. And also, while I'm at it, maybe straighten this out a bit. I don't know how that got away. Another thing that I noticed that got away is like there seems to be here. I'll fix that now too, since I'm thinking about it. Somehow this got pressed in over here, and I don't know why. I don't think I did it on purpose. And I don't have an undo stack, so I just need to bring that back out and get it to be straightened. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what's funny is that I think Twitch has it under control. I think YouTube is where those people are coming in from. So hopefully we're talking to Google, and hopefully we'll figure something out. It's just, you know, bug squashing, I guess. These people come up with these things, and then the companies come up with ways of squashing them. A lot of my fellow streamers were complaining about this. I don't know. I guess I was one of the first people it happened to, so I've kind of had a little bit of a history with that, but a lot of the people are kind of just experiencing it. So this here is kind of starting to look good. Let's pop in these lights while I'm thinking about it. And my scene here is just a mess. At some point I need to go in and clean this up. I won't do that on camera. I will spare you the pain of it, but I have to do it at some point. All right, let's go ahead and append here. A cylinder 3D. No, I think I'm going to use my IMM brush over here. Where is it? I guess I need to scroll up. I guess I'll just excuse me. I'll control scroll up. So usually when I use my UI, it's a little bit bigger, so I've got more room on the screen. But when I'm streaming, I have to do this in 1080p, so I have to work in, you know, a lot of my interfaces is kind of still not showing, and I have to use the control key here on the side to move these menus up and down like this. Just kind of a pain, but not that bad. Okay, so now I just basically brought up my kit here, and I'm going to append, or yeah, I'll just append a Polymesh 3D, and then I'll pick one of my parts here that is going to be the light that's going to go in there. And for that, I think I'm going to pick, I think this will do here, and then maybe put one of these in there. Okay, so that. And so if I press W and click on this, it basically replaces it with that part. So let's see, is it just big or small? Let's just unify it so we can see where it is. And then, where are you, part? Is it like gigantic? No, where is it? Where is it? W, no, there it is. And unify one more time. There it is. Let me turn perspective off. I don't know why it's on. All right, so this is kind of one part that's going to go in here. Like that. And so that's going to kind of be the housing for the light. I mean, I like the oval that this has, but I'm going to override the oval with this piece. Just because. All right, there it is. And like making it a bit bigger. Let's see if that looks good. All right, what do you guys think? Left or right? Left or right? It's like an eye exam. I kind of like this one more, so that's what I'm going to go with. And mirror and weld. And then I'm just going to duplicate this thing. And I'm going to see if this will replace it. And I'll use this low-res version. Did it replace it? I don't know. Oops, not mirror, but unify. Yeah, something weird is happening with parts where I say unify and I don't know where they're going. Let me just move this out here. Is it even there? Control Z. All right, let's just do this one more time. This part. Okay. And is it just really small? Is it really big? I don't know. I think I'm going to, again, save. I haven't saved for a while. How are we doing on time? Great. Let's see. Studio in Dallas called M2. Okay, so Alex, you're saying you do work in the industry. So here's my question to you. When your relatives ask you what you do, what do you tell them? Like, do they know? I mean, or do you have to like explain to them? Like my relatives and friends and people that I know, when they say, what do you do? And I explain it to them, a lot of them just completely have no idea. And then the more I try to explain it to them, the more confused they get. And then they kind of feel bad because they don't know what it is. So if you have any smart ways of, I'm going to try this one more time. Actually, I'm just going to append one of these guys, see if that works better. So I appended one of these guys, and W, and this, and how about one of these guys instead? Yeah, something weird is going on. I think what I'm going to do here is, I think I quick saved, right? So I'm going to just restart ZBrush. No, but yeah, I'll restart ZBrush. Well, let me do one other thing here. Let me see if another part loads. Does this one load? Oh, let me check the scale of my scene. Size. Oh, that's what's going on. Everything is super, super small. So, okay. No problem. I know what's going on. I can fix it. And I did have a autosave. Look at how cool this little detail I added looks from far away. That works. Okay, so if you run into this thing where like I'm bringing in parts and they're not showing up and I'm having all sorts of issues, the thing to do is to go into geometry and size and then just look at what your size is. You want this size to be anywhere between 0 and 2. And right now it's like at 0.00002. I don't know how it got here, but we will fix it. And the way to fix it is you just go to Z plugin and you go to Scale Master right here, and you kind of set your scene scale. So this thing, oh my god, look at this. It's just a disaster. It's not even registering as anything. Okay, that's not a problem. And then what you could do is you could do ZBrush Scale Unify. You just click on this, and then it will just take everything, and warning has 12 hidden geometry. Okay, all right, and it will just go ahead and resize all of your objects so that the number here is no longer that small number, so you can kind of see all the numbers going up, and it goes through and fixes this issue for you. So it's again, it's a Polymesh 3D. Please convert. Okay, I've got a Polymesh 3D in here. That's weird. Okay, well, that did not go as well as I thought it would. but I need to find out where that Polymesh 3D is and fix it. So I guess this would be a good, see, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, is like it would be a good idea to go in and look at all the different parts that you have and name them and organize them. So that's kind of, I'll do that for next time. It's kind of getting to that point where things are a little bit out of control. So I'm just kind of going through the different parts here to see what that part is that caused the issue. And I've got quite a few parts in here. I've got 86 parts. It's not that many. Oh, these things. I guess I don't really need these to be here. I can get rid of them at this point. Yeah, so you can go away. So I'll just delete the whole folder. Delete all. Okay. All right, so that was one of the things. And I guess there's probably stuff in builders here. So this is kind of a history of all the different parts that we had. So I had a couple of different examples of the balloons earlier and the stages of the hull and all that good stuff. Okay, I think I got everything. And I think it was, I'm going to delete this one, this last one too. I think the thing that it was having an issue with was the Z-sphere rigs. So we'll do that one more time, just bring everything back up. And ZBrush scale unify. All right, same story. We'll click OK. So you can see here it's just going through all these different parts. And this is a good thing to know because it could drive you nuts if you run into this problem and you can't get yourself out of it. All right, it's moving perfectly and it should be done pretty soon here. I'm hoping. So now I just went through all the parts and now it's kind of resizing all the different parts and putting them where they need to go. In the meantime, I mean, it's kind of, I can't do anything, but in the meantime, it would be nice if I was looking at that size to see what was happening. But I'll just let it run its course until it's done. You can kind of see all the parts moving. It's kind of a fun thing to watch. It doesn't seem to me like the parts are moving a lot, which is odd. But once this is done, we'll kind of see what all the things that have happened. Right. It's going through here. All right, I got some questions. I guess I could answer those while we're waiting for this. Show then talk on when we do. Okay, yeah. Yeah, true. You could show people. That's right. I do that. I whip out my phone. I'm like, here, I do this. And they're like, wow, that's great. You know, they have no idea how I do it. All right, Sean. Hey, welcome. And glad you're here to watch us live. How do you get into this whole sci-fi thing? Was it a piece of media from your childhood or was pushed in? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, I kind of have some of the generic stories. You know, Star Wars really blew me away. Okay, so now you see that these sizes are kind of closer to 1. So this is a little bit better. And now if I go to set scene scale, I at least get some numbers here. And I'm going to go ahead and just pick this kind of at 0.04 feet. So I'm figuring this thing is maybe, I don't know, 20, 30 feet. No, maybe, what am I saying, 30? Like maybe 50 feet. So I'll just choose this, and then I'll bump up everything, the whole size of it, up. So now it's in feet, and I'm going to go back in, and now it's 13 feet. That's good. Okay, all right, that's fine. And I'm just going to leave it at this. So now I don't think I'm going to have that problem that I was having earlier. But before I do that, oh, a lot of things got kind of messed up here. I think maybe because I did it twice. Kind of generated something interesting. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go in and load up a... yeah, just some of these pieces, I think it kind of did it and stopped and then did it again. So that's why these top pieces... And that's the only ones. like just these top ones. I guess I could move them into place, but they'll, you know, why mess with it? I'll just start over. It doesn't take that long. So I'm just going to go into quick save and load our last save here. But yeah, I mean, you know, Star Wars definitely got me into the sci-fi kick, just like everybody else in my generation. That was a big deal. But I also used to like sci-fi before then. Like I used to like a lot of the Ray Harryhausen movies, where they had the animatronic stuff. That was always fascinating to me. Like Flash Gordon, just, you know, kind of books, even before movies. Like I used to read a lot of science fiction books. I liked a lot of Asimov books. I used to read those, and then let me see here. So is the document size? Let me see. Document, actual, document double. I'll get back to that in a second. I'm sorry. Where are you? Document. I am not in document. That's why. Oops. Let's go to double. Yes. And redraw this. TF. And one more time. And let's half this. Okay, so let me see what the. Okay, so yeah, see the scale is really, really small. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to set scene scale. I'm going to go to feet. Maybe that gives me a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm starting to see some numbers. I'm going to try that one more time. I don't know what is going on with this. I'm trying to do this a few times just to start seeing some numbers, but it's kind of really wonky. One thing to do if you run into this also is you can save this out as a Z tool and then bring it in. But let me try and do this again. But let me make sure this time around that I don't run into those ZBrush rigs again that stopped the operation the first time. So I'm going to delete those first. Always okay. Let's just do okay for now. And then there was one part that had some missing stuff. That stopped it. But okay. So now I'm going to do this thing again. And here we go. Resize subtool. Yep. Here we go. Bam. All right. So subtool cube new. This one here has 12 hidden geometry. I don't know if that's causing the issue, but I'm just going to let this rip. Okay. And see what happens. Hey, Reckless American. Thank you. Thanks for that. But yeah, so I watched a lot of sci-fi things, read a lot of books before, and then, you know, a lot of Jules Verne books, or Jules Verne's, I guess is how it's pronounced. Wow, it's doing that weird thing here again. That's not cool. I think these are the two parts that are causing that issue, so I will fix that. But yeah, Ray Bradbury had great stories, definitely. And so that's kind of where it all started. And then, you know, just kind of now, it's just you can't turn on any streaming service without having like 10 or 15 sci-fi shows. Some of them are good, some of them are okay. Oh, the old stuff, yeah. Yeah, my UI is pretty neat. I don't share my UI because it's pointless. You should develop your own UI and customize it to the way that you work. And ZBrush Guides, or Pablo, has a really good document on that you guys can look up. And it's really very easy to do it. You can just customize your own UI exactly the way you work. So I highly recommend you do that. All right, so we got these two parts causing the issue still, but let me see if I can just move them into place. It doesn't seem to me like they're too difficult of parts to fix. It's this one right here, which is that new cube. Okay, so maybe cube new, and so let's see, what are the hidden parts of this thing? Oh yeah, this is what's causing the issue right here. All right. So I'm going to do this one more time. Again, sorry for the wait, but maybe you guys can see how these things always happen. And Cube New VS2, 13 and 14, I think they're the ones. But you guys can kind of see that these kinds of things happen and how to get around them. Want to get into ZBrush Live? Well, I mean, I think you should just start streaming. If you just start streaming on Twitch or whatever, get some practice in, and then let them know they can watch your streams and do it. Okay, so where did this thing go? What's going on? Hello. Is there? Oh, delete. Is it on solo? It is on solo. All right. So let's kind of fix the first problems first. And then we will, okay, so cube new, I think it was 12. Let's see, solo. All right, this one, yep, has hidden parts, so delete hidden. Okay, so that doesn't have hidden parts anymore. How about this one? Has hidden parts as well. Delete hidden also. And I think those were the two. All right, so bring everybody back. And I'm going to change my documents, or let me just send just actual for now, and then I'll change it after it's done. Okay, so I just fixed those two issues that kind of came up as dialog boxes, and I'm just going to do this again and just run this so it just runs through all the different parts, and I think we won't have that problem this time around. If you're, definitely. Oh, shoot. What I forgot to do this time around is to delete these spheres. All right, no worries. One last, super last time. That's what this whole stream is going to be about. Just kind of getting through this one problem. Yeah, if you're left-handed, definitely can do it. You can definitely customize everything to be on the side that you're comfortable with, on your keyboard or whatever. Definitely, I encourage every ZBrush user to make their own user interface. If any teacher tells you to use their user interface, you can automatically, you can kind of maybe not do that. Is the best thing I could say. Okay, so I'm going to delete these two ZBrush or ZSphere rigs. Okay, and then I'm going to go back up to those two that had the hidden parts, which I believe are 12 and 13, I think. Yeah. Yep. Delete hidden. And one more time, this one. Delete hidden. And I think we are good. All right, let me just make this actual so it's the full screen. All right, let's cross our fingers and hope it goes through completely this time. How often do I unify my mesh? I usually don't. I mean, this is really weird that I've had to do this. By the way, I should also let you know that there are plenty of streamers that have amazing streams on ZBrush that don't stream with ZBrush Live, like Marco Plouffe does his Sculpt Soiree, which is so good. And it's on Wednesdays on Twitch. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely catch it. He's doing this really cool medieval frog now. And he did a really nice insectoid before. And he's pretty entertaining to listen to. So you don't have to be streaming on ZBrush Live. You can definitely create your own channel on Twitch and start doing it that way. And there are a lot of cool people that do that as well. I think Pavlovich has his own streams outside of ZBrush Live. So does Pablo Munoz Gomez, and quite a few people. So yeah, just go to Twitch and just type ZBrush and see. Maybe there are some cool people. I mean, of course, you always get great people on ZBrush Live. Everybody who's on here is pretty amazing. All right, so I don't have that problem anymore. This is fixed. I'm going to go ahead and do one last thing here in quick save before I move forward. Michael is a ZBrush master. Yeah, he is. He is a ZBrush master, and he definitely explains things really well. So if anybody hasn't seen Michael Pavlovich's videos, definitely check them out. They're great. And Pablo's videos are great too, and they both have really interesting things that they do. But yeah, I mean, it's a great community. I think the ZBrush community is kind of one of the best ones out there. I don't know what other, I mean, Blender community is pretty big as well, and there's some great people on there too. And one of these days I'm gonna start working more and more with it. You know, it's funny, at work I'm working more and more with it, so it is happening. It's just happening a lot slower than I thought it was going to. All right, what I'm going to do here is duplicate this. Kind of, we're back on track now. Oh, let me do the document thing real quick. Document, double, yes, Control N, a half, here we go. I mean, yeah, I was going to say I'm using it more and more at work, just because we have some artists that use Blender, and there's some cool plugins for it, so the intention is definitely there. It's just having a compelling project to do it with. Okay, so here I'm in W mode. Okay, so that should have replaced it. It did. And there it is. See, that fixed the problem right there. Right, so this is going to be the light that's going to go inside there. And I probably will choose an emissive material to use in there. So this can kind of go in here like that. That looks good. And what I'm going to do here is just mask part of this, like so, and make this a little bit longer. Of course, the mask did not select it completely around, but easy to fix. Like that, and then make it longer. Let me just see how much longer it is. I can't eyeball this. Oops. Turn transparency on. That's not going to help. Here, look at it from the front. So it's going to be about maybe this long, like that. And then clear that mask and move it over. Here we go. All right, so this would be kind of an emissive light that's going to be inside of that area, and then it's just going to, you know, give it an emissive material. Let's see if this one looks cooler if it's kind of coming out of it like that. It does, and maybe just a little bit bigger. Here we go. That did it. Rotate it just a tad, and mirror and weld. So you see, kind of, we had a little bit of a setback, but you know, now we're back on track. And let's see, this is looking good. It kind of looked cooler when there was that little bit of a hole, so I'm going to try that again. Yeah, I think it looks cooler like this. This looks more like eyes versus something popping out. Okay, guys, have some. Shane Olsen is also great. Yeah, Shane is great. There's, like I said, there's just a lot of really great people on ZBrush Live. All of them are amazing. And again, there's people that are specific to different industries. There's some jewelry people that are really good, like Tomas Whittlebach is really good. And there's somebody new doing jewelry. There's some anime people are doing anime characters that are really good. Yeah, Marco definitely has an interesting workflow. I definitely am adopting some of the things that he's doing, yeah, so he's great. And Pablo's content is really well made. He's a good teacher as well. That's correct. So the story behind my Mech and Robot, well, this story is kind of developing. Basically, this was based on an image generated with AI, and I usually show that at the beginning. I just didn't this time around. I think I've done it with every single stream, so might as well do it on this one too. But basically, what I was doing is just kind of playing around with disco diffusion a while back, and what happened is I just basically put in some words, and it generated this image for me, and it just basically, you know, and one of the things that I did is in the prompt I said, look at my mechs and on ArtStation and base your result on that. So it did, right, and it generated this image right here. And this image right here is pretty nice. I liked it a lot, and it kind of brought up some ideas in my head. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just make this thing. And that's the idea behind it. Now, as far as a story of what this thing does, It's definitely not a battle mech. It's not something that is used for fighting or killing or anything like that. It's more of maybe a rescue mech, or I don't know, some utility like maybe manufacturing mech or something like that. That's kind of the goal. That's why it doesn't have guns. I think this is the first mech I've made that doesn't have guns. The first mech I made had all the guns, which is this one right here. Let me show it real quick. And I guess this would be a good time to talk about a couple other things too. Is that if you guys want to see my work, you can go to kermaco.com. So that's kermaco.com, and you can see all the mechs that I've made, and all character work, vehicle work, etc. But the first mech that I made, like I modeled, was this one right here, which was the Goliath. And I put a lot of guns on this guy. Like, it's got this big Gatling gun. It's got these 2 cannons. It's got like 2 machine guns over here. It's got a bunch of machine guns here on the top. So it's pretty. It's got a lot of guns. Like, there's these guys over here. There's this one. There's this one. There's one over here on the bottom. So I kind of went bonkers on the guns on this one. But then I made this one. It just had 4. Kind of big machine gun cannons over here, and then this one is kind of more. I mean, it does have guns, but it's not to shoot at other mechs or anything like that. It's just to shoot meteors. So these would be deployed on planets and that have little to no atmosphere, and there'd be scientists working there. And as asteroids are coming to destroy create craters or whatever, these things would shoot it out of the sky. And so they have 2 legs. It's probably in low gravity or 0 gravity type environments where they'd walk, and then once they get to a point where they need to shoot something, the legs open up like this, and then they shoot the meteors down. And then this one I did for a tutorial on for Gnomon Workshop. And this thing, it has 2 big guns on top, but it's basically something that is a people mover. So, people would be sitting in it like this, and they would be going from one place to another. But hey, why not add 2 big guns to it? And partially, I mean, this is kind of a design that I came up with just to kind of explain a process and just kind of explain the utility of it, so that you're not just kind of doing stuff. I mean, I go to ArtStation, I see a lot of stuff on ZBrush Central, but none of it is really utilitarian. Like, it doesn't really make sense. So if you're a concept designer, you basically are solving a problem, and so you need to figure that out. That said, I still haven't figured out what this thing is going to solve, but eventually I'll have some sort of a story where it's either rescuing something, or it's got like some equipment it's carrying. I mean, it's got like these legs that would hold something. Maybe something could fit in here. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I've got some time to do it. Speaking of time, how are we doing on time? Okay, good. We're doing great on time. All right. Yeah. Let's see. What problem am I solving next? I still haven't fixed this issue over here, so let's go do that. What's going on with this kit? Let me get rid of this image, the AI image. There's some cool parts here, but no, I don't think any of them will work in that area. How about these guys? These look like engine parts, so none of them will work. Okay, so this Kitbash kit won't do it. Let's go to the other Kitbash kit, this one. Delete this piece that we used, and then see if there's anything over here that could occupy that space. Oops. Didn't want to do that. Let's get rid of my brush real quick. I think eventually, like I said, I'm going to find the parts here that I really like and load them into an IMM brush, which will make life a lot easier. But I haven't had the time to focus on that. It's been so busy with a lot of things going on. How about if we use this part right here? No, it's like some of these parts have design language that I don't really want to incorporate in what I'm doing. But maybe this one. All right, duplicate, kitbash duplicate, copy. And paste. Nope, I don't want to do any of this stuff. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, let's unify this guy. Oops, not mirror. Unify. It's funny, every time one of these things comes in, it just kind of gives me ideas. But yeah, all I want to do is just get this thing under the arm area over there. And if I have time, I probably won't, because we're really crunching on this really kind of fast-paced project right now at work. But if I do have a free night here and there, I might do more of this work. Because, I mean, there's only so much of this you can watch. But I'll do more of this work offline if I can, so that next time I'm doing something different. Unless you guys really like watching this, in which case I will wait and do it then. So I'm kind of thinking of what the best way to kind of place this thing over here would be. Another thing is I do have my own Kitbash parts that I haven't even started using yet, that I will probably bring in at some point. Right, so maybe move this over here this way. Let's see if that works. It kind of works, kind of doesn't. You know, it's kind of interesting that you guys brought up the old sci-fi shows. And it's funny because when the newer generations watch those shows, they're just so, like basically the spaceships that they had in Buck Rogers, or not Buck Rogers, but in Flash Gordon, like you could actually see the strings that they were on. So like if you watch them today, you'd be like, what is this all about? But at the time, that was the best that there was, so it was compelling. But nowadays, they just look really hokey. Like the Gary Anderson stuff, I mean, at the time, it was just so amazing. Like Joe 90 and Captain Scarlet and all that. But now you just look at them and they're these dolls with the mouths that kind of move like this, and they're still cool though. Stories are good, designs are amazing. Like some of the Jerry Anderson stuff, the designs still hold up till today. But that's all they had to work with. They didn't have CGI, they didn't have Maya, they didn't have ZBrush, they didn't have any of this stuff. All they had is imagination and maybe some toys to work with, maybe a model shop or a prop shop. Right, so with this I'm going to use the extender. Go here, extender. Because I don't want to duplicate it, I just want to make it longer. And just move it into here. Maybe that's a bit too much. Extending. I forget that extender does it on both sides, so maybe something like that. Let's see if that works. And it does, but I'm going to completely flip it around, see if that makes it work better. I'm not loving it so far, but I'm just hoping like at some point something will pop and it'll make it work. I think I just did that exact thing I was talking about. Maybe, no. And again, color and texture will add a lot more to these and will make it a lot more visually interesting. I think we'll try to have it be there. Well, let's see what it looks like on the other side. A lot better than what was there before. and then I gotta fix this a little bit. It's a bit wonky. Let's see, got some comments here. Mark uses mostly the old line of transform. Lately I've been using it more too. It seems to, yeah, the transform, gives, what's it called? This thing. I've got a button to turn it on and off, but it's down here somewhere. I guess the Y key does the same thing. This thing, the transpose line. Yeah, transpose line is pretty cool. It definitely still has its uses. It's funny because when I teach this, I tell my students it's like, you know, Batman versus Superman or King Kong versus Godzilla. I mean, both of them are really amazing in what they do. I mean, I tend to use the gizmo mostly, but yeah, old school ZBrush people tend to use the transpose line more. And there's good reason. The transpose line does a lot of really interesting stuff that you can't do with the gizmo. Like, if you want to do an exact mask with an alpha, it works really good for that. And also for rotating joints, it works really well. I do work for a studio now. Well, I mean, it's not really a studio, but it kind of is. I do work in a creative group, in a creative department, at a company that does NFTs. And it's pretty innovative new stuff. There's a lot I can't talk about because it's under development. But it's kind of like a studio, but not like a studio, I guess. And I did do freelance for a long time before that. And I do miss doing freelance sometimes, because it's good to kind of go into a new group of people and work, and then you're done, and then you move on to something else. But also I work with some amazing people at the place I'm at, so pretty happy about that. I guess everything has its good and its bad, right? Sean Davis, are you talking about Gary Anderson stuff? Yeah, me too. I love those old shows. Thunderbirds. So many. You know, now that I've kind of adjusted this thing, I'm starting to like this thing that I put in here less and less and less. Let me see if I move it up. I'm almost ready to get rid of it, but I'm just going to give it one more shot. Try rotating it this way. Let's see if that does it. Turn symmetry on. That won't help. Last ditch effort for this part. Is it going to make it, or is it going to go away? I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he said he met Gary Anderson. I don't know if he's still alive. I don't think he is, but I think he met him when he was alive. I'd love to have met him as well. That's working a little bit better. I don't know. Yeah. And I think it's Gary Anderson. I don't know why I'm thinking Jerry Anderson, but it's Gary Anderson. There's some good TV shows too, like UFO was a really good one. I loved UFO. That was like one of my favorite shows. Space 1999 was good. And I don't know if you can find these shows anymore. Like, I don't know if streaming services even have them. I think that would be a cool streaming service, a streaming service that just had like old sci-fi shows. All right, this is looking more and more like a real thing. It's so cool. This is the part I really enjoy, like this part right here that I'm doing, and from this point forward is like heaven. Oh, 2001, of course, yeah. 2001 is a classic. Amazing what they did with what they had then. And then okay, Koklo? What's a Koklo? Yeah, so many great movies in the kind of late 70s, early 80s. All right, so this part right here is looking pretty solid. I'm very happy with it. Let's see, this part here still needs some work. This stuff here is kind of funky. I'll probably add some more parts to it. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. I'm kind of starting to get really tired, so maybe this time I'm going to kind of maybe end it a little bit soon today, and I'll try to make it up next time. It's been, like I've been up since 6 a.m. Crunching today, so it's kind of starting to hit me. I don't want to just pass out on you guys. That would kind of be funny. I'd be like a streamer that passes out, and I'll probably be known forever for doing that. Okay, watch some episode after you mentioned it last time. Yeah, it is pretty rad, right? Like some of the designs, the spaceships, the clothing, it is pretty cool. All right, I think I like this where it's at right now. I'm just going to stop here, and I'll wish all of you guys a good day, good night, good noon, good whatever time it is where you are. And I will see you again in 2 weeks. And happy ZBrush.